Centennial. Centennial, a French-bred thoroughbred, tracing back to some of the best bloodlines owned by the IDBHA. Centennial, owned by John Varley of Coolin House Stud in Clonbur in County Galway, and shown here this afternoon by his daughter Neve. Now Centennial by Dalakani, going back in his pedigree back to the great Shirley Heights, who himself was by another Epsom Derby winner in Millreef. Fully approved by Horse Sport Ireland, and got a glowing report from the inspectors panel when he was inspected back in 2019, when it said this is a quality, correct, well-balanced thoroughbred. He has a good walk, showed impulsion, lightness and length in his trot, showed good balance in his canter. Now Centennial, performance tested on the racetrack. He won over £155 sterling, winner of 4 races, and placed for trainers John Godson and that Cheltenham legend John Joe O'Neill. Now at the start of his stud career, Centennial stood in France, where he produced a number of successful racetrack winners, including Willie Mullins Highbury, Lucas Carn and Zinchishira in France. He's also sired a number of chasers, and in France, chasers are required to run a distance over 4 miles with jumps up to 1.4 metres, including water jumps. So this is why the Varleys believe this is the nearest competition to eventing, and if he's ran over 4 miles and jumped 1.4 metre, then that would be the level of 5-star eventing and more. And speaking of eventing, one of the most famous foals in Irish sport horse breeding is by Centennial, when last year Paul Ank-Broca, Frank and Paula Cullen's great mare that won badminton in 2014, and was individual 4th at the Rio Olympics for Australian rider Sam Griffiths. She produced her first foal, a filly foal by Centennial. So we're looking here at the very first stallion here today, the grey thoroughbred Centennial. I say the ladies love a grey, and this one a particularly elegant grey thoroughbred. So our thanks there to Neve for showing this horse off. And Coolin House Stud do have a trade stand here, so if you want any information on either Centennial or Elusive Emir, just pop over here to their trade stand in the main arena. So once more around there again, Neve. This is the first of 2 horses here today that the Varney family have sent to the parade to support it. The second one is Elusive Emir in your catalogue, but just to give a little bit of prep time, he'll be coming in later on. So the first one here, Centennial. It's very elegant, grey thoroughbred horse by Dalakani. Going back to Shirley Heights, back to Danzig and Alleged. So all the great race horses of the 1970s, 1980s, they're in the black pedigree of number 1 Centennial. So that was number 1, Centennial. And now if we can move on to our next thoroughbred. And our thanks to our 2 gate stewards down there, Andrina Purcell and Matthew O'Mara. This is the second running of the IDHPA Traditional Stallion Parade. The first one held 2 years ago, just before COVID broke out, held in February 2020. So our thanks there to Centennial as he exits the arena. And we move on with our next stallion, Renaissance Man. Glen Moss. So they're hurling them in pretty much in numerical order. We actually have Glen Moss next. Glen Moss, another thoroughbred stallion, joining us here today from County Galway. So good support, as always, from the tribesmen, stallion owners. And again, Tommy McMahon's Park Row stud has a trade stand here in the main arena. So if you're looking for any information about Glen Moss, the second of our thoroughbred stallions here today. Now, Glen Moss, foaled back in 2009, that makes him a 13-year-old, stands at 165 centimetres, and shown here this afternoon for Tommy by Brendan Newell. The sire is Mossvale, Dam Sail with the Wind, and again another going back to some of the legends on the racetrack, including the mighty Sadler's Wells and Shirley Heights. Oh, lovely stuff. Yeah, brilliant.
Basically put up. But then just standard posts on social media. The word is better than it's written.
Yeah.
Social media, they got quite a few shares and likes and views and
They're going to
videos.
get a lot more.
Actually need put together. Now, and I'll get you a chair.
Yeah, I'm kind of roving here at the moment.
Yeah,
it's
but at
grand,
least,
it's better.
but it is too.
And they can hear. They can hear.
Well, that's, yeah. That woman see if you're right. Even something to put your stuff on, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. So, Glen Moss, as the saying goes, back to Sadler's Wells and Shirley Heights. Shirley Heights, also the sire of Farhan, a well-known thoroughbred stallion in the sport horse world as well. So Glen Moss was one of 3 thoroughbred stallions that went up for inspection in the Horse Sport Ireland 2019 inspections, and the sole one of the trio to be approved that year. He has a time form rating of 109, and also paid his way on the racetrack, earning over £165,000 in prize money. Now, thoroughbred stallions are becoming increasingly scarce, so great to see owners investing in thoroughbreds. Tommy McMahon heard at Gorse Bridge that there was a suitable thoroughbred stallion for sale in England, travelled over and bought him. So that's the story of Glen Moss. First year at stud, it was in 2019. And his first crop of Irish foals arrived on the ground in 2020. He stands with Thomas McMahon at Parkrow Stud in Crockwell, right there, just off the M6 motorway. So now we're looking at our second thoroughbred stallion. This is the bay horse Glen Moss, by Mossvale out of Sill of the Wind. Glen Moss is good quality, correctly balanced thoroughbred with a good athletic walk and trot with a balanced canter. And raced right up until 2018. And then in 2019 arrived in Ireland, where he was approved at the HSI inspections in Cavan. Now, of course, those HSI stallion inspections also go ahead this year. In fact, this week, Wednesday and Thursday are the 2 days. So if you want, after this parade of seeing the approved stallions, if you want to go and see the hopefuls in action, there's 2 days of stallions lined up. And both the entries and the timetable are featured in yesterday's Irish Field. Wednesdays primarily Irish drafts, and then some sport horses in the afternoon, and Thursdays devoted to sport horses. So we're looking at Glen Moss, a successful graduate of the inspections 3 years ago, where he was approved. There's a time form rating of 109 and earned $165,000 on the racetrack. So standing with Tommy McMahon, there in Parkrow Stud. This is our second stallion, Glen Moss. We go through those motions. All we have to do is get some extensions. What are you going to do? Thoroughbred?
Thoroughbred, or I wanted to look at them. I just be afraid with thoroughbred it would be too.
She's got a good dollop of it, yeah. So our thanks there to Brendan Newell, who showed Tommy McMahon's Glen Moss, the second of our thoroughbred stallions here at the IDBHA Traditional Stallion Parade.
try that. Jeez, but it's
Oh, hang on.
getting old. Can bring that and put it in this pocket. It's just the way you're standing. This time the microphone's going through you, if you know what I mean. You speak. This here. No.
The where do you want it, Wilson? This one. Perfect.
Which one's this?
Renaissance Man. So now our third thoroughbred here this afternoon. This is Renaissance Man. Renaissance Man shown here this afternoon by Alice Copthorne. Renaissance Man owned by Donald Shine down in Western Road Stud in Mealan in County Cork. So our Rebel County team had an early start to bring Renaissance Man here today. So our thanks to them and to all our stallion owners for supporting this parade. And great to see one of our thoroughbreds here under saddle, because thoroughbreds are the ultimate machine. We've seen this week in Cheltenham, we've seen some amazing results. We've also seen the great work done by the likes of Troella for retraining racehorses. The thoroughbred is an extremely versatile breed, as we can see with this horse here. So big horse, but coping very well here. And he's by Galileo, who needs absolutely no introduction to breeders, sport horse or thoroughbred, or even the man on the street. His grandsire is the equally legendary Sadler's Wells, and the damsire is Chris S. So he's from a wonderful stallion's pedigree, featuring Zabeel, a multiple champion sire in Australia and New Zealand. Carnegie, the winner of the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. A fine big bay horse, he stands 163, 16.3, or 170 centimetres. So, Renaissance Man by Galileo, out of My Rene by Chris S. He's a three-parts brother to Twilight Payment, a winner of the Melbourne Cup 2 years ago for Joseph O'Brien. And with his current jockey on board, he placed every day out at the Stepping Stones to Success League in Wexford last year. Finished the league in second place overall. So not only are these thoroughbreds pretty faces, but also successful in the Stepping Stones, a young event in a horse league. Now he has a super temperament, which he is passing on to his offspring. And just as importantly, has a full set of clean x-rays and a clean vet cert. So according to his owners, he's breeding very good looking stock, straight moving and correct, and an ideal cross for both warm blood or draft type mares, just to add that little extra refinement and quality, and particularly for the event horse market to add that essential blood. All the top event riders speak about the need for blood for top event horses. So, Renaissance Man shown here this afternoon by Alice Copthorne. And her dad Philip on fence duty. So Renaissance Man, this son of the beautifully bred Galileo, going back then to Chris S. Stands with the Shine family down at their Western House stud in Meelan in County Cork. And if Meelan House stud sounds familiar, it is of course the home of where Gold Coven once stood, the sire of Eddie Mackin's great horse Kerrygold. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now that he's finished his performance, a chance to see the confirmation up close of our third stallion, Renaissance Man. This dark bay stallion, son of the great Galileo, stands down in County Cork, and last year second overall in the Stepping Stones to Success Event Horse League. So our thanks to Team Renaissance Man for bringing the stallion along here today. I think already, even if we've seen 3 stallions, breeders already have a couple of different options, comparing them for pedigree, for type, performance. So that's our third stallion, Renaissance Man. So a lot of work has gone in, ladies and gentlemen, into organising this parade, and free of charge to exhibitors, which is great. It just gives breeders that chance to see these stallions up close at the start of the breeding season. So who's on the IDBHA team? Well, of course, there's Michael Murphy, who's the chairman of the IDBHA, and then a great team that were here first thing this morning, putting it together, headed by Jennifer Haverty. And then in the office we have Mary Claire Travers, Sharon Mannion, and the one and only Eileen Brennan. We have Niamh Grimes and Samantha Fitzsimons on photography duties. And then probably not the most glamorous job, but nearly one of the most essential ones, the car park and the call-up stewards. That's headed by Matthew O'Mara and Andrina Purcell here in the main arena. And outdoors, our thanks to those poor stewards that never actually get to see what goes on in here. They're busy parking, so our thanks to Micheál Green and his son Matthew, Tim Wilson, Eddie Corbett, and also George Haverty. So that's the team, ladies and gentlemen, that has put this parade here together for you this afternoon. Which stallion is this?
That's what I'm asking.
Good question. Captain Cruz, is it? So, as I said, just while we're giving the Barneys time to switch over their stallions, we're going to move on with a traditional Irish horse. This is CC Captain Cruz, owned by Gabriel Slattery Jr., and he stands at his castle on stud, Irish Town, near Claremorris in County Mayo. Now, Captain Cruz has a pedigree steeped in traditional bloodlines. He's by Captain Clover. Captain Clover, one of the most quality of the Clover Hill stallions. Beautiful horse, Captain Clover, by Clover Hill, going back to a thoroughbred mare, Merlina. And the dam of this one is Water Cruising, so no prizes for guessing how she was bred, by another great pillar of traditional Irish breeding in the Great Cruising. And then going back one more generation to Ideal Water by the Great Water Serpent. So we have Water Serpent cruising bringing, of course, the lines of Seacrest and Norderlies to the table. And the dam of this horse, CC Captain Cruz, this traditionally bred stallion, is Captain Clover. Captain Clover also stood, of course, with the Slattery family. So this one, in fact, is the only TIHA fully approved son of Captain Clover. As you can see, super conformation and a great temperament. This our Captain Clover has produced many world-class horses, including What's a Million, written by the US gold medalist Laura Kraut. His dam sire is a famous cruising, mainly campaigned by Trevor Coyle to great success, including their runner-up place in the World Cup final in Gothenburg. Cruising competed in all the main arenas around the world, including Aachen, Dublin, and one of the real success stories of Irish sport horse breeding when he and Trevor Coyle were flying the flag for Ireland. Now, CC Captain Cruz himself is a Grade A stallion. He's competed up to 160-metre level, and his places include a 4th place in one of the FEI classes at Mill Street, and he's also clocked up many wins and placing on the National Grand Prix circuit. In 2018, he completed his 4 clear rounds at Grand Prix level and was awarded full approval from Horse Sport Ireland. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking here at the first of our traditional stallions. This is CC Captain Cruz, owned and stands with Gabriel Slattery Jr. at his castle on stud in Irish Town in Claremorris. And this one, a son of Captain Clover, going back to cruising and back then to Ideal Water, back to Water Serpent. So bred in the purple for traditional Irish lines, and delighted here that we're joined this afternoon by Kevin Noon. Kevin, the chairman of the TIHA, and all of the traditional stallions that are here today will be presented with a souvenir sash from the Traditional Irish Horse Association, just to commemorate and to mark their owners' commitment in providing and having these traditional stallions that stood for breeders. So, Kevin, I think you're safe to approach the subject. I'd say this fellow's well used to having ribbons put on him in his show jumping career. So, congratulations there to CC Captain Cruz. Now, dressed up very fittingly for this St. Patrick's Day weekend with his TIHA commemorative sash. So, the first of our traditionally bred stallions here today. So, one more lap here for CC Captain Cruz by the great Captain Clover, who jumped with Gabriel at Lanarkin. Captain Clover. Very well remembered by traditional breeders, combining the bloodlines of the great Clover Hill along with the thoroughbred lines of his dam Merlina. Sorry, what's your name? So shown here this afternoon by Tara, and again you can just tell all the competition experience. This is just a walk in the park for these stallions that are used to competing week in, week out. So CC Captain Cruz there, led by Tara Brandon. So our thanks to the Castlelawn Stud team for bringing along CC Captain Cruz here this afternoon. Now I'd love to say, ladies and gentlemen, give each of these stallions a round of applause, but for some of them it's the start of the season, they're on their toes, so just safety comes first, but I'm sure you can show your appreciation afterwards. And as I say, many of the stallion owners are here for the afternoon or have trade stands here in the main arena. So if you're looking for any more information about these stallions, you can check them out online, and also their details have been shown on the IDBHA Facebook and social media channels the last couple of weeks. So again, if you need any further information or contact details, they're available in the official catalogue, or you'll find them on social media. Now, the next of our traditional Irish sport horses, this is Democrat. So, Democrat, the second of the traditional Irish sport horse stallions. So, if you just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, what is a traditional Irish horse? Earlier on, I was speaking with Kevin Noon, the chairman of the TIHA, and the traditional Irish horse, or TIH as it's known, it is comprised of the main ingredients of Irish breeding for years, which was thoroughbred, Irish Draught, and sometimes a little sprinkling of Connemara. So in Democrat, we're going to see some of the great names that we've had featured in Irish sport horse breeding down through the years. This fellow is now owned by Mark Condren and Finian McLaughlin. In fact, Finian is showing him here this afternoon. He stands with him at a Liscattle stud in Edgeworthstown in County Longford. Democrat, 100% Irish traditional breeding. His sire is simply Javelin. It goes back to John Henry. John Henry, both he and his full brother Candle King, were sons of King of Diamonds out of a pre-fairy mare named Fairy Candle. So there you go, Matthew O'Mara. Pre-fairy, of course, was one of the stallions that stood with the O'Mara family, John and Tumivara. So this fella going back to pre-fairy, back to King of Diamonds. And the dam of this one is Dunmull, and she's by Clover Echo. Clover Echo again, another son of Clover Hill, but in his case he went back to the Blue Cliff mare. And Blue Cliff, again, if you can remember back to the 1970s, Blue Cliff, a legend for producing lovely quality horses. Democrat foaled in 2008, stands 16 3 hands high with 22 centimetres of bone, and he's fully approved with Horse Sport Ireland. He competed at 145 metre level at 3-star shows in Spain, France, Switzerland, Belgium, and of course here on home ground in Ireland. He's proven to be a consistent, careful, brave and easy to ride horse, eager to please, and sound, versatile stallion with a 5-star temperament. His offspring are also proven to be very correct, with excellent conformation, temperament, movement, and their attitude towards work. Now, both his sire, Simply Javelin, and his dam, Dunmull, competed at 140 metre level. The dam line, and no surprises there with her pedigree has produced a number of Grade A show jumpers, including Dermot Lennon's MJM Pursuits, a winner at 150-metre level. A very fertile horse with excellent seaman quality. He joins the McLaughlin and the Condren team quite recently. And before that, he stood in Northern Ireland. In fact, you may remember seeing him at the most recent Horse Sport Ireland Stallion parades, the inspections up in Cavan. So what did his previous owners say about him? Kenneth Graham said, Democrat is a great horse who always gave his very best in the ring and had a fantastic temperament. Another rider, Suzanne Posnett, who rode Democrat towards the end of his competition career before he retired to stud full-time, said, I don't usually ride stallions, but Democrat is a gentleman and very easy to work with. I have a huge soft spot for Democrat. So, words of praise there from his riders and connections about Democrat, the second of the traditional bred stallions that we see here this afternoon. And then I'll try and meet you out yonder. So just get him to go round and I'll try and take a break. I want a picture of the boy horse. I'll try and get him in the ring. If I think it's okay, I'll give you a thumbs up.
Just taking them out the runway so you'll be able to get them out if it comes through. But that'd be good.
If the report goes go in, off foot. So our thanks there to Finian and Democrat. And if we can call on Kevin Noon to present another of these tricolour sashes to represent the traditional Irish breeding. And this one presented to Democrat.
Stand up there for a moment. Finny, check your ears.
So our thanks there to Finian and to Kevin Noon, the chairman of the Traditional Irish Horse Association. No more than the IDHBA, who promote the pure Irish Draught. And of course the IDHBA organised the second of our stallion parades here, the first one held in February 2020. So one more lap of honour there for the very distinctive looking Democrat, shown here this afternoon by Finian McLaughlin. It stands in Edgeworthstown in County Longford, so practically in the Midlands in the centre of the country. So our thanks to Finian and indeed all our stallion owners who've travelled here, but definitely talking to some of the owners this morning, there's a great spirit and atmosphere amongst the stallion owners who want to get back out and again and get these stallions seen in the public, and isn't it great to have a day out in Mullingar for the breeders. Are you here for a moment, Bam?
I am.
Mind that, mind all that.
Yep.
Don't let Lieblinski take any of it. This is Glen Earl.
Stormy Mountain. Stormy Mountain joins us here from
Boland's Ballinglen stud in Gorey, County Wexford. Ballinglen stud, of course, the home of Financial Reward, the winner of the Croker Cup, awarded to thoroughbred stallions. That was back in Dublin in 2011. Now, Rebel Mountain represents some more of the Ballinglen stud bloodlines. This is by the resident Irish Draught stallion Rebel Mountain. Now, Rebel Mountain goes back to the great Huntingfield Rebel. And if you can remember back to the Celtic Tiger boom, Huntingfield Rebel was in fact, he's gone for a bath. Huntingfield Rebel was the most popular covering sire, covering almost 200 mares at the height of the Celtic Tiger boom. Huntingfield Rebel himself by Glenageil Rebel going back to Glenside. So Glenside, one of those rarest of rare Irish bloodlines who stood at Suma Stud. Now the dam of this one is My Miller's Lass by the thoroughbred horse Stormhill Miller. Stormhill Miller, who stood here in Ireland for a number of years before being bought by Nina Barber to stand at her Harthill stud over in Cheshire. So in this grey horse, just a 4-year-old, ladies and gentlemen, foaled in 2017, we see the traditional bloodlines of an Irish Draught stallion crossed with a sport horse mare with a thoroughbred sire, that being Stormhill Miller. The Stormy Mountain stands 16-1 or 164 in decimal currency, and he had his first crop of foals on the ground last year. According to the Golans, he sires mostly bays and browns in his first crop. They all had a good step and seem to have inherited his good temperament. So the stock he sired are looking like event horses of the future. An athletic horse, he has all the fashionable bloodlines such as Stormhill Miller, the great Master Imp and Highland King on his dam side. On his sire side is Rebel Mountain, Huntingfield Rebel and Mountain View. And of course, when we see Master Imp, we think of that rarest of stallions that topped the world breeding rankings as an event sire in 2014, both in the WDFSH, British Eventing, and the American United States Equestrian Federation Eventing Horse sires. And that's the only time that has actually been done, ladies and gentlemen, that one stallion has managed to top all 3 eventing horse leagues in the world, in British eventing, which is of course our main market, and also over in America. Master Imp also had the unique distinction of being the only stallion at the London Olympics with 4 eventing progeny. So you can see why the Golans feel that this fellow, this traditionally bred stallion, with both his Irish Draught for, say, the soundness and temperament and durability, and also the blood lines coming from Stormhill Miller, Master Imp, and the great Highland King. Highland King also has an Olympic track record as the sire of McKinley, who won an individual silver medal at the Hong Kong Olympics for the American rider Gina Miles. So this horse, Stormy Mountain, is the third of the traditional breds that we've seen here this afternoon, owned by Donald Goland and Ballinglen Stud in Gorey. Lisa, what's young Golan's name? We better get that right. So he stands up there with James Goland, shown here this afternoon by Donald's son James. So this is Stormy Mountain, another of our traditional bred options here today. Is he getting a set? Yeah, or rosette. Why rosette? Not approved. Okay. I won't advertise that.
No.
Can you cut that part?
That'll have to be added to it, doesn't it?
So our thanks there to the Golan team who brought along Stormy Mountain. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, all the contact details for these horses are available in the brochure. And also, if you've been tuning into the IDBHA Facebook page, you'll have seen lots of promotional shots and videos about these horses. Move along with HTS Blackrock. HTS Blackrock is the fourth of the traditionally bred stallions that we've seen here this afternoon. This stallion belongs to Brian Kiernan. It stands at his Hainstown stud near Dundalk in County Louth. It combines a lot of the bloodlines which we would associate with the Kiernan family breeding at Hainstown down through the years. The sire of this one is Ryan Clover. Ryan Clover, a son of Clover Hill, who competed with Linda Courtney internationally. So this horse here, HTS Blackrock, a grandson of Clover Hill, out of a Diamond Chin dam. Now his dam, Marlon D. Chin, by Diamond Chin, who himself was by Flagmount Diamond, going back to a Chuchin Chow dam. So this is a grade A show jumper, and who's a Cruz stallion who's gained 1 star for his own performance. In fact, he's clocked up 784 SGI points and competed at 101.45 metre. As you'll see there from the photo in his catalogue, he has been produced by John Floody in Newgrange Stud. Blackrock, nicknamed Max, has the laid-back, easy temperament of a draft horse, combined with the agility and speed of a thoroughbred. 2 of his offspring are currently jumping with John. They include HTS Red Rock, 6-year-old gelding, with 103 show jumping points, and he's now competing at 120 metre level. And another of his offspring is HTS Rock Sentinel. That's a 5-year-old mare who's currently jumping 1 metre. So you can tune in to watching Blackrock on Irish Sport TV. His recent show jumping competitions include, down to the last 3 years include Cavan, Thoroughbred Remedy Spring Tour, Colossery, Show Jumping Ireland Spring Tour. This fellow is a homebred. He was bred at Hainstown Stud by Brian Kiernan. Has a superb temperament, very intelligent and mannerly. Now, as I mentioned, this is the second of the IDBHA Stallion parades, and how fortunate we were to have had it before COVID struck. And when COVID hit in 2020, the decision was made to retire HTS Blackrock, with so many shows being cancelled as a result of COVID. But delighted to see him back here today, delighted to see this parade here back again today, and again offering a free opportunity for breeders to see these horses up close in the one location. So my thanks to Brian Kiernan for bringing along HTS Blackrock, this traditional Irish bred. So again, HTS Blackrock, another that will be presented with the TIHA commemorative sash. So call on Kevin Noon just to present the sash there to HTS Blackrock. So it looks like he's enjoying being back out again at a party. So if we can have Blackrock into the centre of the arena, and we'll present him with his sash. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, another grandson of the great Clover Hill. This one, HTS Blackrock by Ryan Clover, going back to Diamond Chin, back to Flagmount Diamond, back to the great Chu Chin Chow. So congratulations, he's soaking up the atmosphere there, looking at his audience. So thanks again to the Kiernan family for supporting the IDBHA parade here this afternoon by bringing along a HTS Blackrock. Gladys. John Varney from Coolan House Stud in Clonbur, County Galway. Another of the Stallion owners, it has a stand here in the main arena. So if you're looking for any information on either this bay horse or Centennial, just drop along to the stand. Now, a new souvenir is by Gone West out of Always in Bloom, going back to unbridled. So as you can see, pure American thoroughbred pedigree. And this thoroughbred stallion achieved top marks in his linear scoring when he was approved at the HSI inspections. On the day, he showed good jumping techniques and bascule in the performance element of his inspection. And again, the judges also commented on his superb temperament. Now, Elusive Amir is a prolific sire of show champions, including at the RDS and a number of All-Ireland champions. Highlights include him producing the champion yearling at Dublin, where he's also produced top 10 finalists in the young event horse class. He's also produced a finalist in the Mill Street 3-year-old loose jumping, and as well as being a 2-time winning sire of the All-Ireland Traditional Foal Championship hosted in Montpellier every September. Then just last July, Elusive Amir was a sire of Cannonmore Elusive Collie, the All-Ireland Yearling Champion. That was held down in Charleville, down in County Cork. Now, he already has competition age progeny, including some eventing in the UK, USA, and Switzerland. And also across channel, we have Elusive Gold, that qualified for the Horse of the Year show, the Heavyweight 100 Championship at Robert Walker. So Elusive Gold, very successful competitor on the British show circuit last year, winning no less than 5 championships during the show season. So this bay horse, Elusive Amir, the second of our stallions here today, from Coolan House Stud, and also shown here today by Niamh Barley. I'm looking for Michael Murphy, and I don't spot him.
I keep an eye out from there now. He was around just a while ago.
Who's that?
Michael Murphy?
Oh, okay.
today. This is Elusive Emir. And his stable companion, Centennial, the grey horse, was the first one here in the arena at Mullingar. So our thanks to Neve and to Elusive Emir. Emir, the winner of the Croker Cup back in 2015. So you've seen a selection of thoroughbred stallions here this afternoon at Mullingar. If you're considering adding 100% blood into your breeding program by using a thoroughbred sire. The use of thoroughbred sires dropping to quite worrying levels, now covering about 8% of the Irish sport horse mare herd in the last Irish Horse Register records. If you were considering breeding traditional, if you're considering breeding thoroughbred, you have a choice of 4 here this afternoon. 4 worthy candidates for consideration. So, our thanks to Elusive Emir and the Varley family, great supporters of all the stallion parades. So ladies and gentlemen, that looks like we have now completed the thoroughbred and the traditional stallion section of today's stallion parade. Our thanks there to Elusive Emir and to Neve, and we move on with our next stallion. So again, another opportunity to see Elusive Emir. It's Croker Cup champion and sire of several All-Ireland champions. So now we move on to our Irish Draught section. Maybe before that we'll have a little bit of gold. Let's see. So our thanks again to the IDBHA team. Also to Wilson Porter, who's here videoing all the highlights today from the IDBHA parade. See this video shortly online on the IDBHA channels. You can check out both their website and their social media, such as their Facebook page. Yeah, we have a little bit of gold. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, with our Golden Connemara here this afternoon. This is Lee Minsky's Whitehorn Buccal Buoy. Well named. Golden Stallion by Killaloo, Buccal Moor, going back to Temperbredy Farbury. Temperbredy Farbury, one of those great performance Connemara stallions, got a lot of very successful event horses, working hunter ponies and 148 jumping ponies in his day. So this is Whitehorn Buccal Buoy, it's Connemara. The dam is Frenchford Rose, and she's by Moy Hazy Cove. Whitehorn Buckleby stands at 148 centimetres. He's been tested negative for the hoof wall syndrome. Now a 7-year-old. As a 3-year-old, he won the West Cork Breeders' Pony Loose Jumping Final, showing great potential over a pole. And now he's progressing his career under saddle with Hannah Gordon. Now from last year's crop of foals, he bred the highest price colt foal at Clifton with a beautiful dun colt, so he's passing on that very popular dun colour. He breeds very correct foals, which are commercial, and at the beginning of this year he started his competition career and is already jumping lovely clear rounds with great bravery and ability. Said by his owner, sure to be a pony to watch out for under the expert guidance of the RDS champion rider Hannah Gordon. So this pony, 7-year-old Whitehorn Buckleby, he stands with Lee Linsky. Lee showing his stallion here today. He stands at Lee's Derry Remain stud in Swinford in County Mayo. So thanks to Lee for bringing along our Connemara here today. Lovely to see again another ingredient of traditional Irish breeding. So either thoroughbred, Irish Draught, and also Connemaras. Again, at the moment, Connemara prices of the sales are just going through the arena ceiling. Very popular pony, in fact, probably the most successful competition pony. All of the Irish pony show jumping teams down through the years have been filled with Connemara ponies, including Some Man for One Man, written by Mikey Pender, who's gone on to equally great things in the horse world, and Coburn Mistress, again another gold medal winning Connemara at European Pony Show Jumping Championships level. Very hardy pony, which might be a benefit with the rising feed prices predicted, but they're hardy, these native ponies. And again, this lovely eye-catching dun colour, very popular in the sales ring. Dun colour, of course, goes back to his grandsire, Temple Breedy Far Boy. So this is our Connemara stallion here today, Lee Linsky's Whitehorn Buckleby. Stands at 148 centimetres, 14'2". And you're going to see this pony out and about on the circuit this year. So Connemara stallions, very popular cross with thoroughbred mares, for example, or with Irish sport horse mares, just to get that little bit of native. There's nothing like a native pony for clever brains out hunting or looking after their rider. It also adds to the temperament. So again, a Connemara, a very worthwhile cross considering for this stud season. And here we have this lovely golden stallion here this afternoon, Whitehorn Buckleby. Thank you. How's it going? Okay?
Yeah, good. Can't out and learn so that one.
It's terribly difficult, yeah. Now, are you too near?
Gentlemen, that is our Connemara stallion here. Thanks to Liam for bringing along Whitehorn Buckleby. Well done, Lee. So off we go there with Connemara. Now we move on to the Irish Draught section.
What do you want to do? Do you want to go look at Connemara? Do you want to stand there with me? He's coming outside or he's staying in here?
So our thanks to all the team around the arena and showgrounds, including the stewards, all the voluntary stewards in the car park, also in the office. Great interest in these, organising these events, but unfortunately you often don't get to see them because you're busy. So now we move on with Ballylarkin Silver, shown here this afternoon by the chairman of the Irish Draught Horse Breeders Association, Michael Murphy. Ballylarkin Silver is a Class 1, which means he's an approved Irish Draught stallion. Now a 12-year-old, he stands 165 centimetres, 22 centimetres of bone and 208 centimetres girth measurement. So approved last year at Cavan. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the HSI stallion inspections take place again this week in Cavan. Wednesday is the main day for Irish Draughts, with some sport horses taking place throughout Thursday. So Ballylarkin Silver travelled up from Gorey last year to Cavan, where he gained Class 1 status. He was placed 5th in the RGS Performance Irish Draught class. He was the only 4-year-old in the lineup that particular year. And he has great performance pedigree, featuring some of the most famous Irish Draught performance stallions in history, including King of Diamonds and Ginger J. He also goes back to Carabon View. Particularly good dam sire. He's the dam sire of Ringwood Magister, one of those 4 master imp horses competing at the London Olympics in eventing back in 2012. So this fellow is by young Carabon. His pedigree traces back to Carabon View, back to Ginger Grace, and back to that good performance sire, Ginger Dick, who stood with the Hamlins at Killawalla Stud. He also traces back to King of Diamonds, to Kennedy Diamond, back to Glidon Diamond. So this is the first year of our Irish Draught Stallion, shown here this afternoon by Michael Murphy. Michael, the chairman of the IDBHA. So an early start for the Wexford team also. So this is Ballylarkin Silver.
You mentioned over there, from that camera they just stand directly behind the fence. You see what I mean? Just if they're pull up standing over here, or just imagine you could say that.
Sorry, where do you want them moved? On the other side, is it?
No, let's say that anywhere at all, but as long as they're not
Not
the far side,
okay.
you know what I mean?
So this is the first of our Irish Draught Stallions that we see here today. Irish Draughts, of course, considered the family tractor and car in Irish households for generations. They were the all-round light draught horse, not to be confused with the more heavy draught breeds such as the Shires, Clydesdales, Percherons, that were often imported into Ireland for tillage. The Irish Draught was a lighter type horse, could be used for all general farm work, but also capable of taking someone hunting and riding the family to Mass on Sunday, bringing the milk to the creamery. Every Irish farm in its heyday would have had some of these Irish Draught on the farm, the mares often producing a foal every year, crossed with often the local thoroughbred stallion to produce the coveted Irish half-bred. Of course, times have changed and moved on. Possibly we may see Irish Draughts going back working on the farm if we hear all this doom and gloom about diesel prices. But there's a huge market for these horses at the moment in the performance field. First-class hunters with a fifth leg, and also the popularity of the many Irish Draught performance championships has been a huge bonus in promoting the agility and versatility of the Irish Draught horse. So we're looking at Ballylarkin Silver. The first of the native Irish horse breed that we'll see here this afternoon at Mullingar. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. First of our Irish Draughts, Ballylarkin Silver, taking a look at his audience here in Mullingar. And we move along now with the next of our Irish Draught stallions. So thanks there to Michael, multitasking here today, showing his own Ballylarkin Silver. Black Hero, owned by Owen Hanlon. It stands at his Killawalla stud in Westport in County Mayo. And if Owen Hanlon and Killawalla stud sound familiar, it's of course because that's where this horse's grandson, Ginger Dick, stood for many years. So Black Hero, again another clue in the name, his sire is Godfrey Hero. Gort-Free Hero, a 3-time champion Irish Draught Stallion at Dublin. So this one by Gort-Free Hero, going back to Castana, back to the King of Diamonds line. And the dam of this one is Young Ginger Hill. Young Ginger Hill, a daughter of Ginger Dick. Ginger Dick going back to the Lawton line, and a very famous stallion in Irish Draught performance history. In fact, if I was to rate the 3 Irish Draught performance stallions, I would probably rank them as King of Diamonds, Clover Hill, and Ginger Dick. Ginger Dick, of course, produced a number of international show jumpers. So Black Hero, full Irish Draught. Last year at the HSI inspections, he was awarded Irish Sport Horse Stud Book approval. And as a sport horse, it's our Gort-Free Hero, 3-time Dublin champion, and also the sire of Gort-Free Lakeside Lad, himself a Dublin performance champion hat-trick winner. So Black Hero combines the best of Gort-Free Hero, going back to Ginger Dick, back to Clover Hill. So real homebred story here with this one. It's easy to see where Black Hero gets his good looks and ability and power from. If you could just stand him up maybe another 10 feet so our video camera can get a clear shot of him for his confirmation. Perfect, thank you. Black Hero has fabulous paces, a beautifully balanced horse, and as you can see, an eye-catching stallion with plenty of presence. He's siring Black and Bay progeny. Has an excellent temperament, so he's an ideal cross with all types of Irish Draught mares. But also, if you want to produce some substance and bone into your breeding programme, again, an ideal cross with either an Irish sport horse, a lighter type Irish sport horse mare, a thoroughbred mare, and even a Connemara to produce that kind of all-round perfect 15-2 horse that you can sell all day long. So this is Black Hero, joins us here this afternoon from Killawalla Stud in Westport in County Mayo. Very aptly named, very eye-catching stallion by Gort-Free Hero, going back to the great Ginger Dick and back to Clover Hill. Now, Flash Lucilla was just one of the international show jumpers produced by Ginger Dick back in his heyday. Ended up in Mexico when he joined the great Lucilla farm. So again, our spectators here at the ringside having a good shot close-up of Black Hero, shown here by Owen Hanlon, and joins us here this afternoon from Killawalla Stud in Westport in County Mayo. And I'm sure you'll agree, ladies and gentlemen, that the turnout of all our stallions that we've seen here today is a credit to their owners. It's still quite early in the year, hasn't been the best of winters, but all of these stallions absolutely blooming. And looking at a picture here today. So this is the second of our Irish Draught stallions on parade here this afternoon. This is Black Hero, an ideal cross, both with Irish Draught mares, but also thoroughbred Irish sport horse mares, and even Connemara's. So our thanks to the Hanlon family for travelling up today to Mullingar with Black Hero. And there he goes. That's Black Hero, second of the Irish Draught Stallions, on view here today at the IDBHA Traditional Stallion Parade. So our thanks to our hard-working gate stewards there, and Gina Purcell and Matthew O'Mara, who to have a ringside view of these stallions. In County Galway. This is a Class 1 Irish Draught Stallion by our Grandpa. Down at this one, Clonacone Fifth Lady, who's by Cullimore Hill. So this is son of the late Ard Grandpa, bred up in Navan
when you came back. I saw it.
by the Dean family. Our grandpa himself was by Silver Granite, going back to a Middle Temple mare. So again, that little touch of thoroughbred in our grandpa just brought out that extra performance gene. Middle Temple, the sire of several international show jumpers, including Michael Whitaker's great speed mare, Cloney Temple. So this is Clonacone Grandpa, son of Ard Grandpa, and his dam is by Cullimore Hill, who many of you will remember jumping with Tom Slattery back in the 1980s. So Cullimore Hill, owned and bred by Michael McCaig, was foaled back in 1987. Goes back to Clover Hill and back to the thoroughbred sire One Wing. So a little extra thoroughbred infusion in the pedigree here of Clonacone Grandpa, Brendan Glavin's Class 1 stallion. Extremely well mannered both on the ground and when under saddle. Returned from England where he was regularly hunted, and his first crop of 4-year-olds around the ground this year. So his 4-year-olds just coming through to the under saddle stage. Clonacone Grandpas breeding athletic, scopy types with good temperament. They're expected to excel in any discipline. Now he's proving very popular with Irish Draught breeders. County Galway, of course, being the highest producer of foals in the country. And in fact, in 2021, Clunaconing Grandpa recorded the second highest amount of registered foals by an Irish Draught stallion. So we're looking at this Class 1 son of our grandpa. Our grandpa, also the grandsire of the 3-year-old loose jumping performance champion at Dublin last year. That one owned by Anne Lambert, Ashfield Banser. And Ashfield Banser was out of an Ard Grandpa Down. So this fella has been performance tested in the hunting field, and no better test for fifth leg and bravery and endurance than on the hunting field. This fellow hunted over in the UK and is now standing in court with Brendan Glavin. As you can see, very typical of the Ard Grandpa type. Our grandpa also stood in County Galway with Martin Shaughnessy. So we're looking at this very typey son of our grandpa. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see more Irish Draught future prospects, the Horseport Ireland Stallion inspections on this week for 2 days in Cavan, Wednesday and Thursday. Today we're looking at many of the Class 1 and proven stallions, including this Class 1 son here, Clunaconing Grandpa. So thanks to the Glavin family for bringing along Clunaconing Grandpa here today to Mullingar. All the contact details for these stallions are in the brochure. Battery's beginning to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, already we've had 2 hours of stallions on parade. The latest that we're seeing here, Clunaconing Grandpa, the second most popular Irish Draught stallion in the 2021 covering figures. Sir, excuse me. Pony Stables Ufolia. Ufolia is one Class 1 stallion owned by Norrie McGee from the kennels in Roundwood in County Wicklow. This Class 1 stallion is by Girl Golden Eye. The dam Corcullen Goldie is by Classic Vision. So Pony Stables Ufolia is a well-proportioned, attractive Irish Draught stallion showing good presence. If you're looking for him in the catalogue, go forward one page. Next page. Next page. Next page.
Hands on working.
Horse, he scored high on his inspection day as just a 3-year-old, showing great presence and super attitude. He's grown, like so many of the Irish Draughts, into a lovely mature model. He already has some promising young stock in the ground. A horse with lovely free movement, who also received high scores for athleticism. Now for his pedigree, he comes from a beautiful line of show jumping sires. His own sire, Garon Golden Eye, successfully competed at 110-metre level. Garon Golden Eye was by Kildalton Gold, that famous chestnut stallion that stood with Tom Kearns down in Milcoin in Kilkenny, and a dual champion of the Irish Draught stallion class at Dublin in his day. And then on his dam side, Corcullen Goldie goes back to Classic Vision. Classic Vision, another Grade A show jumping stallion, owned by the McLaughlin brothers. He also produced a purebred Irish Draught champion, Supreme Hunter, at Dublin. That was Classic Vision's son. Classic Vision going back to the great Flagmount breeding. Classic Vision himself was a Grade A show jumper in its day and produced Richard Iggulden's Darragh, who's the champion, Supreme Champion Hunter at Dublin. So we're looking at a Pony Stables Ufolia. Ufolia himself had 8 generations of pure Irish Draught breeding, kind of a rare line that we see nowadays in Irish drafts. So this grey model here, tracing back to Ufalia by the Kildalton Gold son Geraint Goldeneye. Geraint Goldeneye, that prefix, that's a clue, must have been bred by the late Tina breeder Chantal Dion, a great ambassador for Irish draft breeding. So this pedigree steeped in both Dublin champions and also Grade A show jumpers. Epona Stables Ufalia stands with Norrie McGee, kennels in Roundwood in County Wicklow. So we're looking at Epona Stables Ufalia, this Class 1 son of Geraint Goldeneye, going back to Kildalton Gold, himself was by Mary Gold, and then on the downside, Kirkcullen Goldie, a daughter of the Grade A show jumping stallion Classic Vision. So thanks to the McGees for bringing along their Epona Stables, Ufalia, another stallion looking the picture here. So these owners have gone to great lengths to have their stallions looking as well as possible. So that was the Class 1 stallion owned by the McGee family. The Grade A Irish Draft Double Gold Merit Show Jumping Stallion Moylock Bouncer. And gold merits run in the family because Moylock Bouncer's own sire was the great Grange Bouncer, owned by Jack Lambert. Grange Bouncer did everything. He was a Grade A show jumper. He evented up to 2-star level and produced a number of approved Class 1 stallion sons, including Moylock Bouncer. Now on his downside, GS Bala Bouncer is out of Mount Diamond Princess. She goes back to the great Flagman Diamond. Flagman Diamond was by King of Diamonds out of that great Goran Betty mare. And further back, on his dam side, Neck and Rose, was by Blue Peter. Blue Peter, like the horse that we're looking at here, DS Balabancer, another stallion who originally stood in County Mayo after moving up from County Kerry. Blue Peter finished up his stud career at Suma Stud. So DS Balabancer's dam sire, Mount Diamond Flag, is also the sire of the famous Grand Prix dressage stallion Steeped in Luck, well known across the Atlantic. Mount Diamond Flag was approved as a Class 1 Gold Premium Irish Draught stallion. So we're looking here, DS Balabancer on the sire side, going back to Mylock Bouncer, back to Grange Bouncer, himself by Grange Heather. And then on the dam side, we're going to add in a little bit of the King of Diamonds performance line from the Flagman's line. DS Balabancer is a beautiful athletic type. He gets his exceptional looks, intelligence, movement and jumping ability from his father, Mylock Bouncer. And Grange Bouncer, Mylock Bouncer, that line certainly did stamp their sons with the same presence. At DS Balabancer's inspection, he achieved Class 1. And the inspection panel commented that he was very active in all gaits, had a lovely carrying canter, and added that this is an attractive horse expected to contribute quality and movement to the breed. Now, DS Balabancer was a prolific winner in hand as a young horse, and then under saddle he qualified for the RDS Irish Draught performance classes on a number of years, including placing second in the final. He's already competing up to 115-metre level, and Liam plans to campaign him further up along the grades. He shows scope and ability for those higher levels, and he's a real all-rounder, having already competed in dressage up to elementary level and has qualified for the National Dressage Championships. So like the Dun Connemara pony that we saw earlier on, Whitethorn Buchel Bui, DS Balabancer is the second of the stallions that have joined us here today from Liam Linsky's Jerry Ronayne stud. Liam here on the lead rein showing off DS Balabancer, and is based at his Jerry Ronayne stud in Swinford in County Mayo. So we're looking at DS Balabancer. So our thanks to Liam for bringing along not one but two stallions, and particularly Balabancer, this young Irish Draught horse, just starting his career off under saddle. Nowadays, so many opportunities for Irish Draughts under saddle, particularly the very popular Irish Draught Performance Championships at both Balmoral and Dublin. Now we move on with...
Give me a second, I want to change the back.
Ready to go?
What have we got?
Echo King. So we're ready to roll with Echo King. Again, very distinctive, easy stallion to pick out from your catalogue. This Black Stallion. Again, another Class 1 horse to be seen here today, and another that has travelled up to join us here in Mullingar at the IDBHA parade from County Mayo. This is the second stallion that we've seen here today, owned by Gabriel Slattery Jr. Earlier on in the traditional Irish sport horse stallion section, we saw CC Captain Cruz. And this is his Irish Draught stable companion, Echo King. Echo, regarded by his team as an outstanding example of the Irish Draught breed. He's produced many show-winning and performance horses, and himself has competed with Gabriel up to 120 metres and hunted many seasons with the North Galway Hunt. Such a versatile horse out hunting, he even whips in on occasions. He's a lovely, kind-natured horse who passes on his temperament to his offspring. And when it comes to his pedigree, again we're going back to those performance lines. The Flagmount line, in this case it's Flagmount King, who stood down in Kilkenny with Martin Brophy. Flagmount King, the son of King of Diamonds, and a brother to a number of other approved Irish Draught stallions, including Flagmount Diamond. Echo King's dam is Blackthorn Lady. Blackthorn Lady, a daughter of Carabon View. Carabon View, going back to Mountain View. As I mentioned earlier, Carabon View, also the dam sire of Ringwood Magister, another male bred in Mayo by Adrian Burke, who went on to compete at the London Olympics with Tiana Coudray. And her horse, Ringwood Magister, a grandson of Carabon View. So Echo King by Flagmount King out of the Carabon View dam. So another who's enjoying the occasion here, looking at his audience. Of course, Irish Draught horses renowned for their placid temperament. They're also great characters. Many owners of Irish Draughts will tell you what a great character their horses are. Irish Draughts also extremely good doers, so good practical horse for the amateur owner, but also excelling nowadays in Irish Draught performance classes, and of course the Irish Draught mare and stallions are the cornerstone of traditional Irish breeding. So we're looking at Echo King, this Class 1 son of Flagmount King, owned by Gabriel Slattery Jr. and standing at Castlelawn Stud in Irish Town near Claremorris in County Mayo. All the contact details for the stallions that you're seeing here today in Mullingar are available in the catalogue and will also be available online. And don't forget, you can also view the video taken here today by Wilson Porter. And again, all the information about these stallions included in that film. So thanks to another Mayo owner who came along with their stallions here today to support the IDBHA Stallion Parade at Mullingar. So our thanks there to Tara showing Echo King. Very distinctive black stallion. And down through the decades, black horses always very popular as troopers' horses, both for the household cavalry and also for the Swiss market. The Irish Draughts come in many different sizes, from the more compact Irish Draught right up to the taller Ranger types, from the traditional type to the more athletic modern type, and many colours, predominantly grey, but we'll also see black, bay, chestnut. Any of the whole colours are accepted by the Irish Draught breed guidelines. So our thanks there to Echo King. We're down now, ladies and gentlemen, to the last couple of Irish Draught stallions here today at Mullingar. Again, our thanks to the entire IDBHA team here, headed by the President, Michael Murphy. Michael, Chairman of the IDBHA, assisted here this afternoon by Jennifer Haverty, and the entire team from the office team, consisting of Mary Claire Travers, Sharon Mannion and Eileen Brennan. And then on photography duty, we have Lee Grimes and Samantha Fitzsimons. And then our great call-up stewards, Michael Green and his son Matthew, Matthew O'Mara, Tim Wilson, Eddie Corbett, George Haverty and Andrea Purcell. So we move along now with another of our horses from Ballingar Stud. This is the second of Donal Boland's stallions here today. This is Grandpa's Rebel. And if you're looking through the catalogue, you can see, like so many grey horses, he's changing colour. Quite a different horse from his Dublin photo in the catalogue. This fella's starting to grey out. As we were saying about colours, grey is the one you would mostly normally associate with Irish Draughts, such as this son here of Rebel Mountain. So this one, a son of Rebel Mountain, himself by Huntingfield Rebel. And the dam of this one is Vicar Grandpa's Girl, a daughter of Ard Grandpa. Now, Ard Grandpa, I mentioned earlier, very successful performance sire amongst the Irish Draught ranks. Ard Grandpa was by Silver Granite, going back to the great thoroughbred horse Middle Temple. So this horse, a combination of the Irish Draught lines of Rebel Mountain, back to Huntingfield Rebel, back to Glenaguy Rebel, that Rebel line, and then on the dam side going back to Ard Grandpa by Silver Granite out of a Middle Temple mare. And this fellow is now an 8-year-old. His first crop of 4-year-olds in 2022. And so far, his progeny are proving to be a nice quality stock with good temperaments and super movement. He's sired mostly grey, like himself, and also bay progeny. Grandpa's Rebel. You'll have seen him at Dublin back in 2017, where he finished 4th that year in a very strong class. It's our Rebel Mountain. Again, one of the most popular covering sires in Irish Draught ranks in recent years. He inherited that title from his own grandsire, Huntingfield Rebel, or going back then to Huntingfield Rebel, back to Glenaguy Rebel. So these proving to be very popular breeders, good commercial lines. Rebel Mountain is known for breeding performance horses, most recently Ballinglen Quality. Ballinglen Quality, a winner of a junior young rider preliminary class over in America. So Grandpa's Rebel, this class 1, fully approved Irish Draught Stallion, standing with Donal Goland at Ballinglen Stud in Gorey in County Wexford, and shown here this afternoon at Mullingar by his son James. So thanks there to the Golands for bringing along 2 stallions, including that very distinctive dappled grey horse there, Grandpa's Rebel. Now we move along with Godfrey Lakeside Lad. Godfrey Lakeside Lad. This one, another son of the triple Dublin champion Godfrey Hero. And Godfrey Lakeside Lad is out of Springvale Rose, going back to Ginger Dick. So again, 2 good performance lines crossed, and it is shown in this fellow's own performance record as Godfrey Lakeside Lad was the Performance Irish Draught champion at Dublin in 2017. The following year, he repeated that with a back-to-back championship at Dublin, and returned in 2019, again with Linda Murphy in the saddle, to win the Open Working Hunter Championship on Sunday evening. So a prolific performer at Dublin. And last year, Godfrey Lakeside Lad made his first of hopefully many visits over to the Horse of the Year show, having qualified again for the Open Working Hunter Championship, which again is believed to be the first time in over 30 years that a purebred Irish Draught had competed in the Open Working Hunter Championship at the Horse of the Year show, both in Wembley and in Birmingham. He's shown here this afternoon by Brian Murphy from Gorin in County Kilkenny. Godfrey Lakeside Lad, bred by Sean Barker, who also stands and owns this fellow's sire, Godfrey Hero, a 3-time winner of the Irish Draught Stallion class at Dublin. And then for good measure, Godfrey Hero, also the sire of Fort Knox. Fort Knox was a supreme Dublin hunter champion, and who was on board that day? Only Brian Murphy, who's here showing another of Godfrey Hero's progeny this afternoon. This time it's the prolific performance champion, Godfrey Lakeside Lad. Now Godfrey Hero is by Castana, going back to King of Diamonds. And on his dam side, Springvale Rose goes back to Ginger Dick. I mentioned earlier, Ginger Dick stood for many years with the Hamlin family in Killawalla Stud in Westport and produced a number of international show jumpers, including Ginger Watt and Flash Lucilla. So we're looking at the 3-time Dublin champion, twice a winner of the Irish Draught Performance Championship, and then he returned the following year to win the Working Hunter Championship just 2 years ago. Godfrey Lakeside Lad was also the Supreme Ridden Champion at the 2021 National Show, organised by the IDBHA. Again, if you see his catalogue entry, you'll see him in action both in Dublin and also last October at the Horse of the Year show, where he competed in the Working Hunter final, having qualified here in Ireland and travelled over to Birmingham for the overall championship. So we're looking at Godfrey Lakeside Lad, a Dublin triple champion by another Dublin triple champion. And again, another great ambassador for the versatility and performance of the Irish Draught. They're proving so popular now. Any good prospects or geldings under saddle are snapped up by people aiming for these performance championships.
Will be the youngest stallion today.
champion. Got free leg side last. A couple more stallions still to go, ladies and gentlemen, including this horse here, Farmhill Highlander. Now, Farmhill Highlander, the second of the stallions that we've seen here this afternoon from Killawalla Stud. Farmhill Highlander, again Class 1 stallion. He's by WRS Sunrich, a son of Grey Mocha. And the dam of this one is Nissen Holly, who goes back to Cool Conan Wood, a son of Seacrest. Shown here again by Owen Hanlon Jr. from Killawalla Stud. Farmhill Highlander is an attractive, athletic Class 1 horse whose pedigree speaks volumes, boasting the perfect mix of traditional and performance Irish Draught bloodlines. He was approved 5 years ago and was highly graded at Dane Cabin for his athleticism. He has an outstanding attitude to his work and is passing on his exceptional temperament to his progeny. His foals are already in demand and have topped the Irish Draught sales in Cavan. So, Farmhill Highlander is a straight, correct stallion with beautiful movement, displaying power and quality. And again, like several of the other horses, changed quite a bit since his last passport photo. He's greying out, but a very distinctive stallion, as you can see, full of power, athleticism, and plenty of athleticism there. And again, like his stable companion, he suits all types of Irish Draught mares and crosses exceptionally well with Irish sport horse, thoroughbred and Connemara mares. So another stallion to consider, whether you're a purebred Irish Draught breeder, looking for an Irish Draught to cover your purebred mare with, or whether you're aiming to produce something maybe for the traditional market by covering a thoroughbred mare, or else using, say, Connemara pony mare or an Irish sport horse. So we're looking at Farmhill Highlander, this one by WRS Sunrich, the son of Grey Mocha. Grey Mocha, another former Dublin champion. He stood for many years with Bernard Stanford down in Gort. And this fellow is quite reminiscent of Grey Mocha. Again, a prolific sire. Grey Mocha was in his heyday of Dublin winners, the Greenvale champion down in Mill Street. So this Class 1 horse, a grandson of Grey Mocha, going back on the dam side to Cool Cronin Wood. Cool Cronin Wood was by the great Seacrest. Seacrest, the sire of both cruising and that famous 5-star event horse Lenamore. Lenamore, who competed on Olympic teams with New Zealand's Caroline Powell. So, Farmhill Highlander, Class 1 stallion, a mix of the show ring great Grey Mocha and the performance lines of Seacrest. He stands like Black Hero with Owen Hanlon at Killawalla Stud near Westport in County Mayo.
Yeah, finish things. More. great patience with the job. She's not switched off. Thank you.
So we're looking at Highlander. Class 1 son of WRS Summit. And going back on the jam line to Coconin Wood. So thanks there to Owen Hanlon for bringing along the second of the Kilowatt Stud Stallions here this afternoon to Mullingar.
Yes. Yes.
So we have 2 left to go, ladies and gentlemen, 2 Irish drafts. I'm sure you'll agree you've been spoiled for choice now with your list this afternoon, which stallions to pick. And we're moving on now with one of the youngest horses here this afternoon. This is the 5-year-old Scrap Boy. Scrap Boy stands with the McCardles of a Drumhound stud in Castleblaney, and shown here this afternoon by Thomas Quigley. Scrap Boy represents a perfect mix of Irish draft qualities, and again, as his name would suggest, he's a son of Scrapman. Scrapman, now exported to Mexico. And this young 5-year-old Scrap Boy, his dam Phantom Queen, is a daughter of King Elvis, going back to Coleman, back to Blue Peter, all famous and renowned Irish stallions in Ireland. His full sister, Goldsmith Country Mabel, was the supreme champion at Mount Briscoe's native Irish breed show. And she also placed well in the Irish Draft Mare class at Dublin before being sold abroad. Now, along with producing Phantom Queen, Scrap Boy's dam, his granddam Coleman's Gift also produced the Class 1 stallion Finton himself. Scrap Boy boasts an exceptional CV of pedigree, showing champions and horses sold well, both at sales and privately. Approved just last year, Scrap Boy gave a wonderful performance in Cavan, showing his quality, power and scope. It caught the eyes of the inspectors, the scores including an 80 for canter, and 75 for scope. The inspection panel's verdict on Scrap Boy was he had a very good top line and forearm, adequate type of breed standard, correct walk with good balance in trot and canter. It was also described as a careful stallion with lots of scope, a well-presented stallion with a pleasing attitude to his job. Scrap Boy now standing at stud at Drumhallen, available to breed traditional Irish sport horse and modern Irish draft, performance and leisure horses. And he joins two more popular Irish draft stallions based up in Drumhallen in Highlander and Dunsandle Diamond. So that's three of the roster, the Drumhallen stud roster this year. The Irish draft horses, Scrap Boy, who we see here today, this young 5-year-old. He joins Hi-Ho Dove and Dunsandle Diamond.
It is, but it didn't look like it.
So we're looking at Scrap Boy, this 5-year-old bred and owned by John Bracken. It's by Scrapman, going back to the great Crosstown Dancer, a 5-time winner at Dublin. Crosstown Dancer, of course, won at Dublin as a foal. He won the Irish Draft Stallion class, and he also jumped in Simonsport. Goes back then to, on his sire side, Scrapman's side, to another Dublin champion in Kildalton Gold. Now in his dam side, Scrap Boy is out of the King Elvis mare, Phantom Queen. And his dam, his granddam, Coleman's Gift, is by Coleman, going back to the lovely Blue Peter. It stands at 170 centimetres and was classified as a Class 1 stallion at Cavan last year. Now he's the remaining son of his sire Scrapman, who was sold to Mexico in 2019. The first Irish draft stallion to be imported there. And this is the last foal of Phantom Queen. So this is the second last stallion that we're going to see here today at Mullingar. This is Scrap Boy, standing at a Drumhallen stud, and shown here again this afternoon for them by Thomas Quigley.
So, ladies.
Keep them wet. The main thing.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Scrap Boy, the youngest stallion here today. And now, last but not least, we have our final Irish Draught stallion on view here this afternoon. And this is Holly Park Diamond. Holly Park Diamond, another Class 1 Irish Draught stallion. Stands with Daniel Cusack, who shows him here this afternoon. And Holly Park Diamond is by Castlegar Fingrove. I think somewhere earlier on this afternoon did we see Tom Burke, his breeder here amongst the spectators at the IDBHA Stallion Parade. Holly Park Diamond, son of Castlegar Fingrove. He was one of the Class 1 stallions owned by Tom that was approved at the Cavan inspections, as was this lad here, Holly Park Diamond. Holly Park Diamond's dam, Coola Mist, is by All the Diamonds. Going back then to Oakport Lady, All the Diamonds, another performance Irish Draught stallion who stood with Jan Keck. So again, we're seeing that combination of the traditional Irish Draught stallion, Irish Draught lines, crossed with the performance lines of King of Diamonds. So another beautifully turned out stallion here this afternoon at Mullingar. This is our Class 1 stallion, a Holly Park Diamond. This one a son of Castlegar Fingrove, one of the stallions approved at Cavan. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, this Wednesday is Irish Draught Stallion Inspection Day up in Cavan. If you'd like to make a week of it, between looking at these proven Irish Draught Stallions here today, already Class 1s, and then the hopefuls in Cavan on Wednesday starting at 8 o'clock. But right now we're looking at Holly Park Diamond. It's very active, good looking son of Castlegar Fingrove, going back to Finton himself. So again, you can see the active, purposeful movement of the Irish Draught. Also the powerful hindquarters, the movement that carries them forward, all demonstrated here by the stallion Holly Park Diamond, shown here this afternoon by his owner Daniel Cusack. It stands down in County Laois. And again, you can just see the wonderful Irish Draught temperament exhibited by him and our stallions here this afternoon. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, why the Irish Draught horse has such a large fan base. They're the consummate all-round versatile family horse. And also, as I mentioned earlier, the cornerstone of traditional Irish breeding. You cross an Irish Draught stallion with a traditional sport horse with thoroughbred mare, or vice versa, Irish Draught mare with a thoroughbred stallion, and you'll continue on the traditional line.
I just want to say a few words.
You have a few words, brilliant.
I have a few words with you after that, right? Oh, you want to ask me? I want to thank the people for coming.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
So just while we're looking here at this, another lovely example of the Irish Draught breed, Holly Park Diamond, delighted to be joined here by the IDBHA Chairman Michael Murphy. Michael, are you happy with how today went?
Yeah, very happy with the way things went. I'd like to thank all the stallion owners for supporting us and all the spectators that came today to see the showcase that we put on. So hopefully we'll be able to do it in the near future again.
And this is the second year that the IDBHA Stallion Parade is run, but you have an excellent team behind you.
Yeah, well, without any organisation, the background team that set up this, I'm not going to name anyone because I shouldn't leave out somebody, but there's about 5 or 6 involved in the setting up or getting people to come here, and fair play to them, they stuck with it and got the horses here on the day.
And no doubt there's going to be other IDBHA events planned throughout the year. Your National Breed Show, there's a number of them coming up.
Yeah, the National Breed Show is on the 3rd of September. There's an IDBHA show in Wicklow, I think, in June.
Strap Valley?
Strad Valley, the 1st of July. And I think Thomastown might be running Irish Draught classes as well, which is on in April, I think.
And the IDBHA, the national show, it usually takes place in Punchestown.
Yeah.
Same venue this year?
The same venue we've been looking in Punchestown for the last 7 or 8 years, and has went really well, big numbers. We were under the pressure to run the last show in it, with the COVID and all that, and they were able to go under the rules. So hopefully this year we'll have no problems.
Good. And overall, you're happy with the turnout here today?
Very happy with the turnout today. I know a lot of other stallions couldn't come because the people have horses going to the inspections during the week. So we hope to see a lot of this crowd in Cavan on Wednesday.
And the pressure will be off in Cavan on Thursday. You can just be a spectator.
Spectator, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank you, Susan.
So thank you, Michael, and thank you again there to Danielle Cusack and Holly Park Diamond, the foremost stallion that we've seen here today at the Irish Draught Horse Breeders Association's second Stallion Parade. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to all our spectators. Thank you to our crew here, all volunteers this afternoon, and to the host here at Mullingar Equestrian Centre, including Dorothy Fagan there. And we hope to see you back again in Mullingar for year 3. If not, we'll see you in Cavan on Wednesday. So, safe journey home, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for turning out today. Hope you've been able to narrow down your choices. And don't forget, the video of today will be available online on the IDBHA website and also on their social media. Hello, how are you?
I have a laugh at you if that's okay.
Oh.
Nothing too scary.